All right, what's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Okay, it's Carolina FratHouse podcast. All right, with Southern Wits meets Gridiron Grit. We got both the big brothers here. This is your boy, Big Brother A. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We had to come together, man. This is the first day of training camp, man. We got just a whole lot going on that we want to discuss. But first, man, Jay, how's it going with you? You know, that's a great message, man. Uh, something just to think on. Like I said, but we're all striving for something better. So we really do need each other, and that's the whole point of fraternity. Just having a band of brothers that you can build together with and can lean on. So great message to start it off, man. I totally agree, man. But let's not hold it up too much, man. So let's get into the topics. All right. So this is the gridiron. Let's go to the topics. All right. And we have the first topic. All right. We've been hit with injury bug early, couple days before training camp and the very first day of training camp. All right, so let's go over like each one of these and what do you expect us to do for backup options or alternatives? So the first one, right tackle Taylor Moton. What do you think? Mm-hmm. You know, I know they did a quick sort of announcement with Monroe Freeling saying, "Hey, he's going to take over right tackle." Um, I would actually like to see him battle for left tackle and just still and just whoever between him and Lee Walker, whoever loses out, um, have them go over to right tackle. I just don't want to pitch. Yeah, I don't want to pigeonhole Monroe Freeland to right tackle just yet. Like, let's see which side. Like, let's see how he does with each side. I know they're doing that because he's still raw. He's sort of a raw player. And it felt like, oh, this side, it would be just easier. Let's give him, the easier assignment. And but I still want him to try just because. Like I said, man, he's so athletic. It kept gushing about his relative athletic score, and he's so athletic for a big man, and he's basically the perfect built you want for a tackle. So like, let's let's see how he does. But Like this is gonna be tough because Taylor Moton was a great right tackle. Is a great right tackle, and I think it's sort of like I don't want to say a freak incident, but just something that was totally out of control. He's played, I think, I say a lot longer than maybe some fans we expected. Um, but he's still been great, not just okay, great, and it's gonna yeah, and you know I'm glad that we did draft tackle and we did pick up Lee Walker, and I'm also glad recently we resigned Brady Christensen. So like we gonna need some guys to really compete there, but I think we'll be okay because he is coming back, and it seems like they're being cautious with him because I think he could be back by the end of training camp, but he might not be in shape. So yeah, so him coming like let's say after the bye week, after the first 4 games, I think that's reasonable. So I'm not too worried with him. Cause I yeah. That's I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking, man, we got our guards, we got some players that some seasoned players beside him. I think we'd do all right there. Okay, yeah, like I don't think we got a tackle that will struggle heavily, where the fall off would be um, extremely noticeable, like overly noticeable. Like we throwing Nate Chandler over there. um, but let's talk about. Well, yeah. Listen, super. Yeah, not Super Bowl Mike Rimmers. He yeah. Man, you know, ooh, I'm just all I'm gonna say is listen. If you want to see some bad play, look up the Nate Chandler and Byron Bell uh, play, especially against that season against the Buffalo Bills. We actually put Mario Williams in the Super Bowl. I mean, in the Pro Bowl that year. That's how bad our tackles were. That single game put him in the Pro Bowl. But you know, so now let's talk about J.C. Horn next. He had a cut while he was practicing, a cut on his foot. Found out the cut needed stitches. He should be back for training camp. We don't know when, but he should be able to participate in training camp some. What you think about that? Yeah, I'm gonna bring up an old a name that I thought of. Bashan Breeland. All right, so he was a cornerback. He played for Washington. We wanted to sign him. We became a free agent. Then we discovered he had a cut on his foot, and his cut got infected, and we nixed the deal. Okay, so he failed the physical because of that cut on his foot, and he never really played again after that. Like that, yeah. He pretty much, yeah. Yeah, and I'm gonna double check now, but I believe he that basically was it for him, and I'm not sure if that's due to the cut on his foot, or he was a very avid weed smoker, but he yeah, like mm-hmm. So yeah, man. So I looked him up. So he did play a little bit after. Um, so he had a 24. We had a 24 million deal on the table for him. We cut that. He took a $800,000 deal with the Packers. So not even a meal, just 800,000 just to play, and it seemed like he recovered with the Packers. Then he bounced around with the Chiefs and the Vikings on the Vikings practice squad. But he never really got to the play. I think they were expecting him to like peak into sort of like above average elite play. So it seemed like it, you know, yeah, journeyman, yeah, yeah. So I don't like I said, I don't think that's gonna happen to JC. Just I hope we're really careful with this cut and hope it. Yeah, just hoping we take care of it. Hope I would rather he do light conditioning during training camp, and you know um maybe not putting too much pressure on it until it's time for the season starts, or something. But I'm actually a little bit more worried about JC versus Taylor Moton, and that's because I don't, he's on, like you said, he's a corner. He has to, make tight cuts on his foot. You don't know like how that cut on his foot is going to recover. Like where is it on his foot? What's it like? And you don't really know how it's going to recover because he's going to be on his feet and applying so much pressure on his foot. So a little bit more worried with that. Also, I know I think there was talks about this year, J.C. Horn, they wanted to use him more, like even more as a number one corner, have him moving around. I think even, yeah, just doing more on the defense as far as moving him around, maybe even the shadow number one wide receiver. So since he is the number one corner, like, and he's in his prime now. That's why I'm a little bit more worried about him. But like I say, for him, I think he should be all right. Okay, so I actually think Corey Thornton will step up. Yeah, Thornton. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you good. Oh man, Corey Thornton. He got playing time last year and did the most with it. So I feel like he's sort of like our his old school name Richard Marshall. Um, Sort of nickel corner that could come in and be number two corner if need be. Um, and Richard Marshall, man, that's a Madden favorite. Shout out to him. But I think Corey Thornton he can do all right with the opportunity. He already excelled at nickel, and I think he can hold it down if need be as the second corner. Just like I believe Mike Jack can hold it down as the number one corner. But if we want to be at our best, we'll have JC along. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Yep. So we'll see. You're right. All right. Now last one. Yeah, yeah. And this the big one just happened today. Nick Scorton. All right, a second rounder from last year. Um, I'm not gonna lie. I felt real bad for Nick Scorton when I saw the news on that. Man, tell me your thoughts, Jay. Mm-hmm. Lee Hum. Yeah, man. I hate those injuries where where a player just knee buckles the wrong way. It's like non-contact injury, especially for pass rushers and bigger guys like linemen. Uh, like you hate to see those type of injuries, and like we just started training camp. If there any silver lining to it, because it happened so early, he has plenty of time to recover for next season. Um, and the and what I was thinking about, sort of trajectory for Nick Scorton, I was thinking like sort of like Charles Johnson, guy we drafted in the second round. Um, he started, getting more playing time around his second year, and he had 6 sacks his second year, and that's sort of what I was hoping for Nick Scorton. I was actually hoping for him to sort of take control of the starting position, or at least get plenty of playing time behind at the second um, pass rusher spot, and I was expecting like 6 sacks, but seeing progress, but it sadly didn't work that way, and he still got his full career to recover and reach reach those expectations. Uh, I think this injury is like worse, more worse for him than the team. Um, and the reason being is the guys we have Pat Jones. Pat Jones actually played pretty decent, even though he got hurt earlier last year. He did play decent, and now there's more on Princely's plate to be a starter and get more playing time. Yeah. So with Nick Scorton, see if one of those guys end up playing extremely well next to Jillian. He's sort of stuck behind them, and he might not get the chance to really come back the way he could have if let's say all those players did not play well. But you know, I'm actually expecting one of those guys to step up. Either Pat Jones or Princely, and I'm looking at Prince. I'm looking at Princely because yeah, I think Princely he seemed like he sort of got sort of good early and then burnt out real quick, and that just tells me he needed to build up strength. But he has it seemed like he has the speed or the pass rush ability. He just needs the strength to be able to battle tackles, and I like that Pat Jones did do well before he got hurt, but I think Princely already has the speed to add to pass rush. Um, and if he even just excels at pass rush, um, Jillian Phillips he should be more of our well rounded pass rusher. He can I think he can hold down like the run defense if need be. But yeah, I like I've always thought about like when he was beating our tackles in training camp early, and then he was playing well in training camp, and then when the season started, it seemed like he sort of fell off a cliff a little bit. Um, so I think with more endurance, more consistency, Presley, yeah, you know, Yeah, I think he really needed to build up his run defense and strength. His or let's say run defense and anchor. Um, a lot of guys that come from college that's edge rushers and a little more on the lighter side, they struggle going against the tackles when they get to the NFL, and you know. When your team is good, okay, I can slot you in as just a pass rusher, but when you're building team, we sort of need you to be able to be a decent run defender. And I think he was just outmatched as a run defender. And sadly he didn't have. Yeah, and sad. Yeah, so we pretty much struggled most of the season until our defense sort of found its legs a little bit, but he sort of got hit with that early bunch, and then it's like a confidence thing. Like, hey, I struggled with the defense early. Maybe I'll just never get it. So I don't think he ever got his footing on run defense, and that affected his pass rush because listen, if all I gotta do is worry about your pass rush ability, and I can run on you all day, I could tire you out. So yeah, I think let me see if I can look up here what the scouts were saying about his some of his weaknesses right quick. Let's see. Our projected weaknesses. Let me see. Yeah, so like the number one weakness they put was they believed he was more finesse than physical as a run defender. And slow to shed, and his working parts for rush plan encounters. Yeah, and that's what I saw. It's just he's gonna have to develop that. Because we're gonna need him to now to be a more well-rounded edge rusher than just okay. We think you could be a pass rush specialist. So yeah, yeah, he was. He was like yeah, he was like 2'8". Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I remember, Nick's. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, and we look at that. If Patrick just duplicates that, and Jillian Phillips, he's the one we're expecting, 10 plus sacks from. If he does his job, the production that Pat Jones, if he repeats that, it's going to be great. Like all we would really need is Princely to progress, and Jillian Phillips to actually be worth his contract. So yeah, that's at first I was just thinking like, oh man, what he's going to do, but when I thought about it more, I was like, man, you know what? It's more so like, what is Nick Scott going to do? Because like I said, if Pat Jones stays healthy and looks the good or even around the same, uh, they're going to look at that production and say, hey man, this guy can give us 5 6 sacks opposite, and Princely progressed, we might just settle on those two as our edge rushers to complement Phillips, and have now Nick Scotton is behind them on the curve. So so especially with if he's more of a run defender, he'll he he could find a place, but still it's going to be a big curve for him because edge rushers, pass rushing is more of a premium. But yeah, yeah, and like I said, I before the injury, I was looking at him as sort of as a Charles Johnson guy. Someone like I said, Charles Johnson probably one of the most underrated Panthers. Um, he played. Yeah, yeah, because he got that contract, and and man, he actually was, and I'm gonna give him credit, man. He was actually worth it before, like the first two seasons of contracts, he had over 10 sacks, and he was actually worth it until he got this leg whip to the knee, and I think he didn't get for the rest of his career. I think he got less than like 3 sacks. So whatever that he injured in that knee, like pretty much took whatever ability he had as a pass rusher. Yeah, yeah, man. With him, with I still think finally of like when him and Greg Hardy uh was holding down both ends. Yeah, I thought both of them had like that like real go get it energy that I miss um from our defense. But yeah, yeah, man. But all right, training camp. So like I said, training camp started today, July 22nd to August 28th. Um, what's your thoughts on training camp? Like, hmm Yeah, this is gonna have to be a season of perseverance because you got the injury early, got a couple of, but we're gonna have to show like, hey, these injuries not gonna set back what we got planned for the season. So it got to be the story of perseverance. That's what I'm thinking about this training camp because at first I was thinking like, man, listen, they gonna have to train hard uh, this training camp, and then it's like, oh dang, somebody, Nick Scorton went down. You got these players hurt. Do they need to train hard? But you know what? Here, yeah. We're here with our frat house group, man. We're all about perseverance and toughness, and I still want to see them train hard. Like this is the third season. Dave Canales. He's the head coach. We had a little bit of success going to the playoffs, even though we're 8-9. Um, the offense isn't where it needs to be. So I really want to see the offense take the next step. Like it seemed like it could. Depends on what players or whatnot, but I needed to see it come together. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually sort of worried that Dave Canales gave up play calling duties. Actually, sort of worried about that. So that's what I'm gonna be really focused on, the offense this training camp. And how hard they practice, man. We've been sort of getting slow starts and not really practicing hard, and then we go to preseason. We're not taking the preseason games series, and then the season starts, and we get beat down the first game, and it's like, oh, why are we not prepared? Is because we didn't do anything the whole training camp or preseason. So I need them to really take this serious, and like the Hall of Fame game, that's in basically 2 weeks. So it's August 6th, and it's going to be against Arizona. Like yeah, the Cardinals, man. The Cardinals. Even though we sort of got our get back, there's still a sort of dagger in my heart from the 2008 playoff game against the Cardinals, because that yeah. Listen, man. Like I love Larry Fitzgerald, man. But that yeah. Listen. I like him, Bolden. I actually like Antonio Rogers, Cromartie. A lot of people. Well, I ain't gonna say a lot, but a couple Cardinal fans I like. Yeah, yeah, man. Listen, yeah. listen, listen, man. That, but like I said, I give them credit, man. They pretty much shut the book on Jake Delhomme uh, right then, because like I said, I still say, man, he single handedly lost that game. Like we had a running, yeah, 2015, yeah, we got him back. Technically, so it's just when I think about like when I first started sort of being a true fan, it's like when Double Trouble was getting hot, and like man, yeah, that's when it still was sort of like I would call them the old school Panthers, because I'll say I'll say my true friendship is the Luke Kuechly, Cam Newton, Greg Olson, Thomas Davis Panthers. The but I also was a Yeah, I also was a big fan of the Double Trouble, John Beeson, um, you know, Pepper's still on the team, Panthers. And yeah, it's just one of the ones like, dang, we lost it that way. Like, I don't know, but I'm like I said, it's in 2 weeks, man. I need to see them take this game serious. Like, hey, play hard. I need to see, Will Greer, he retired. Bump him. I didn't even want us to sign him back. Let's see these other quarterbacks. I want to see Bryce play. I want to see Kenny Pickett play. I want to see Haynes King. Uh, all the quarterbacks. I need to see them play and play to win. So I think it's gonna be a. Mm-hmm. I think you gotta. Yeah, I think, man. Um, this what I think. First game, Bryce, he has to have at least two good drives. You give him two good drives, sit him down after that. Not just one, two good drives. Like if he goes three and out, you make it three drives. But he has to have two good drives. He got to keep playing till he has two good drives. Then you throw in Kenny Pickett and you save Hayes King for the fourth quarter. But after that first game, after you do that, if we see what we like from Bryce and we see what Kenny Pickett, the second game, I think you gotta be focused on Kenny Pickett and Haynes King and say, okay, both of y'all getting a whole lot of playing time, and let's actually give him an opportunity to do something. And I, I think you do that in the second game, and he gets. When I mean playing time, I mean like he needs at least two quarters. You know, um, you know, yeah, yeah, both of them get two quarters, and I want to bring up like Matt Corral. When we drafted him, I remember he played and he looked horrible. Okay, he looked horrible, and you know I remember he looked horrible, and then the Washington had a guy we didn't draft. I'm trying to think his name. What's the quarterback name? Yeah, same year, Sam Howell. And Sam Howell like sort of like played great against us in the preseason. And it's like, man, we drafted Matt Corral over this guy, and this guy Matt Corral, what, retired, left the league and basically retired now. Like mhm. Yeah, yeah, like man, I'm tired of seeing our quarterbacks, our second, third quarterbacks in preseason looking horrible. Like last year, the guy, I don't even want to remember that guy name. Whoever we had as our third quarterback, he was playing and was horrible, and I don't even think we kept him on the team. And why do we even have him giving all them snaps in the preseason just to be off the team? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Man. Man, listen. I I don't even remember that Joker name. All I know is he was throwing. And it's like, man, can we get back to when we had like Derek Anderson and uh Joe Webb, man. Even Joe Webb could come in and do something in preseason. Like Derek Anderson could win games and played well. Like I want our second and third quarterback to have ability, be decent at least. Like you know Andy Dalton, when we first signed, he was decent, and we didn't do anything. Have one after him, but like we should be looking for not just our main quarterback, but our backup quarterbacks to be acceptable as well. And recently, they just haven't been. And uh, so, like, yeah, Kenny Pickett, man, those guys, they're gonna do better. So, but let's go. I know we're sort of talking about this, but like, you know, next, which 3 to 5 players have the most to prove for this upcoming season? Yeah, yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, Jimmy Horn Jr. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Let me just add one more tidbit about Xavier Leggett, man. He Listen, man, he has to do something, man. Especially with how likable he was first season. Just like I'll just say the draft he was a part of. I personally hated that draft. I personally hated that whole draft. And if he doesn't do anything, I'm gonna feel, even though I feel bad overall, I'm gonna feel like, oh, see, this is why I didn't feel good about the draft. So it just, yeah, but okay, I'm gonna throw Jatavian Sanders, tight end. You know, we drafted him in the lower round. He supposed to be mainly receiving tight end. He actually did a little bit of something, and then he had the neck injury, and yeah, serious neck injury. We thought it was serious, but it ended up, I think, not being that bad. But it seemed like it took a lot of the fire out of his play, and yeah, and man, he's like in a prime position to really take over at tight end, man, because he's really the only true receiving tight end out our group. Yeah, Mitchell Evans is more blocking. Tommy Trimble's more of a blocking tight end. They both don't really have run after the catch ability. Um, Tommy Trimble, I think they had a little bit hope for him, but he's only good for like 200 yards. I think Mitchell Evans might be, a little bit more for 300, but like, like, just, I like true good receiving tight ends, and you don't have to, you don't have to be Antonio Gates, but like, a guy I'm thinking of is like the Eagles tight end, our former Eagles tight end Zach Ertz, a guy that's just gonna, he's with Washington now. He's gonna receive, get like at least 500 yards receiving. He's a great receiving tight end. Um, yeah. Like, and he has the, ability for that. So it's in like, him becoming that threat would help our offense so much. Like that, it would help our offense so much if he turned out to be a good receiving tight end. So I really want him to prove something because we turned down drafting what's the tight end name? 4-3. He ended up going to the well. Let yeah. Let me not say we turned him down, but he was being mocked to us, and I'm not too old to remember, man. Kenyon Sadiq, and I remember the days, man. Like when the yeah. I remember the Panther fans days, man, when like every year they used to mock a tight end to us because we were only about Magnum and Jeff King, and they were just like, "Come on, guys, you gotta want somebody else at tight end." And I remember Heath Miller was mocked to us once. Like just a different tight end each year, and we just never would select one. And what do you know? We trade for Greg Olsen, and somehow our offense explodes with Cam. And for some reason, man, it's like we never looked at that, or like even the brief period where it was Jeremy Shockey and Greg Olsen. They both played well together. And it's like we never, like, why don't you look at that and say, hey, you know what? A good receiving tight end would do a lot for our offense. especially since we like doing two tight end sets. Um, like and like I said, he needs to step up. He needs to step up because if he doesn't, man, he got to be off the team next year because he's not. Yeah, yeah, like out of here. Like man, okay, sadly it seemed like you showed a little bit of ability, but after the injury it didn't work. Yeah, you got to be off the team because we need somebody we think that's going to be a receiving tight end. Like think can offer something. Uh, and he's not offered it. And you already got sort of Tommy Trimble on contract, and Mitchell Evans would be like a third year player. Yeah, he would have to go off. He'd have to be off the team. Um, mm, uh, mm, 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 mm. All right, so yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Let me just add because I know Charlotte radio station. I saw they had to talk about who they thought the player that needed to uh, prove the most, and they just immediately said Bryce Young. And you know, that was a 99.9 fan, and yeah, shout out them, and they're right. At the end day, everything sort of revolves around Bryce, and we still got question marks about him. Last season Bryce had some games where it's like, man, why are you even in the league? Not just starting. Like, why are you even in the league? Like, he was averaging 100 yards passing, if that, and it's not a stretch to say, man. If Rico didn't break out for those 200 back to back 200-yard rushing games, and we sort of changed our offense to go follow him, and I'll repeat, I hate that we sort of took the fire out of Rico Dotto's run when Chuba came back, because like I said, that actually saved our season. Um, but if that, yeah, yeah, I believe that as well. And um, Bryce, you think about, like, Adrian Peterson when he had his 2,000 yard season. The quarterback was what's the guy name? I want it's Christian. Uh, Let me. I'm a Ponder. Christian Ponder. Okay, Christian Ponder. Okay, you don't need to remember because he was not a good quarterback. but their whole offense was just Adrian Peterson, and he was drafted in the first round. And they were like, "Listen, man, if you can't do anything, with AP putting up 2K, like, you know, yeah, what are you doing?" And with Bryce, it's just I keep having these questions about, um, what are you doing? And he had like the game against the Falcons where he put up 400 plus yards. He got the team record now, and he played well in spots against the Rams, and he had some really good games and good moments. Uh, but it's like when I the 99 fan, the way they broke it down, man, he's like in the bottom 25 for a lot of stats, for a lot of plays. Um, he's he's not in the top 15 at least for a lot of stats, and we know he has weapons. He has, yeah, yeah, like it's like that, and like and he reminds me a lot. And Panther fans might not like this, but he reminds me a lot of Teddy Bridgewater after Teddy Bridgewater injury. Like Bryce seemed like he's so afraid to throw the ball deep, but he's good enough to where he's not like Jimmy Clausen. He can manage some stuff, but he's so afraid to throw the ball deep that if he's had a bad game, it's just a bad game. And he has this sort of weird thing where it's like he's clutch, but he's also like easy to destroy his confidence. So it's like, hey, if I, yeah, 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 like it's like if you smack him hard early, he will not gain his composure. Like it's like pretty much game over. But if it somehow stays close, somehow he'll get in the zone and he might squeeze out a win. And yeah, he just needs to get in the zone early and play to the very best of your ability because you do not have the physical ability really to be in the league. So so yeah, he has to show it, man, because we've spent a whole lot of money and resources on offense, and we're still a bottom third offense. So it's yeah, we shouldn't be. I want to complain about the defense. I'm like, hey, okay, we spent all this money on offense. Now we need to do something about defense. Like the defense is still holding it down, and we haven't. We're just now spending on defense. So to, yeah. A lot of people are him gone, but he held down the defense last season. Uh, but yeah, Bryce is a real good one, and really the main one. I'm gonna throw out another name since I hated the draft. Jonathan Brooks. There's two reasons I side eye him. One, we drafted him when he was already injured, and we didn't need a running back. And that's the thing. We didn't need a running back. And two, his comparison was to Jamal Charles. And Jamal Charles might be my favorite non-Panther running back. So it's like, oh man, they sort of compare you to Jamal Charles, and you've been hurt this whole time. I don't like that comparison. And yeah. Listen, man, like Jamal Charles came after Priest Holmes and Larry Johnson, and like kept that same level, and he was like averaging 5 yards a carry, and I think he had like a total he's always had like over like 400, 500 yards receiving along with his rushing. Like I was expecting something similar for Jonathan Brooks, and that's what I'm gonna expect now because we let Rico go, and I got this sort of belief with running backs, like any running back can be 100-yard rusher. Like for example, like Nick Goins. Okay, that's an old school name, but Nick Goins had 100-yard rushing game. Okay, he was like number 3 or 4 running back. Um, a lot of running backs, right circumstances, 100-yard rush. It's very hard for a running back to have a 200-yard rushing game. Yeah, it's very hard to have a 200-yard. Yeah, that to me, that's like you were in a zone and you had like another ability to like keep it going. And like I said, Rico had two back-to-back 200-yard rushing games once he got full starting ability. So it's not like he couldn't have did it before. He didn't have the opportunity before with the Panthers. And like those running backs, like him, I've seen it with even like Christian McCaffrey. We've seen it with D'Angelo Williams, and you know, I'm not sure John Stewart ever had a 200-yard game, but that's why I like D. Will, man. His vision is like you take it to that level. I think those running backs are special, and we let a special running back go. And we did that for Chuba. Okay, we did that for Chuba, and Chuba is a good running back. Okay, he's just not a great. Yeah. That's my thing. You had the elite running back, and you let the elite running back go, and basically put the elite running back behind the good running back because the good running back was elite on your team. and yeah, you already paid him, so it's like, hey man, what would really help this offense if we got an elite running back play from someone else, and you know, John Bruce, we drafted you while hurt because we thought you had that ability and could help in the receiving game and whatnot, and uh, he's been hurt, so it's like, like man, 2 years in a row and we haven't seen anything. So it's like, do you even still got the ability? And like I, hmm yeah, yeah, I've heard that it doesn't seem like he's had to slow down or been doing gingerly. I did yeah, he looks explosive, and so I am encouraged that it does seem like he still has his physical ability. And I'm gonna be honest, man, if his play is similar to Jamal Charles, like, that would be a perfect addition to Bryce Young, because just the receiving ability out the backfield would help Bryce a whole lot. And and the thing, it's like, it's like a guy like Darren Sproles, who's running back a whole lot. Players like that would work with Bryce a whole lot, because Bryce, and this is something I feel like what's that I feel like Dave Canales is sort of figuring it out now, and I'm trying to think of the head coach name that we got from the Colts and fired him early. Frank Wright. I feel like Frank Wright sort of figured it out early. It's like, when Frank Wright was the head coach, we were running like these like screens, a lot of screen plays, and what he realized is Bryce likes to throw really quick and short, and you got to have a lot of good yard after catch players with Bryce, because how he likes to play. And then he builds that up. Then he likes throwing deep sometimes, and during his off season, they were saying, hey, we need more yard after catch players, and it's like, yeah, you need that because that fits Bryce's game more. Yeah, yeah. So you got to, like, you gotta you gotta play Bryce. If he's in the shotgun, it's like, hey, one of those wide receivers gotta be able to grab the ball on a short route and go for extra yards. Or if you're even going to play him in a running offense, the running back's going to have to be able to do that. Like, he has to have the option to either dump off quick or something that he could do real quick. And Jonathan Brooks, his skill set could match Bryce extremely well. Um, it's just like I said, yeah, we're gonna see if he had we drafted him in the second, and like I said, I did not like that draft. If he gets hurt again or doesn't play well, that's gonna be just a wasted draft pick. But I'm Yeah, yeah. And I'll just add one more thing. You know, he did take first team reps in the training camp today. So we'll see. If they if they want to give him first team reps to see like, hey, he might be the leading guy and might be like sort of 50-50 with Chuba. Um, oh. hmm Yeah, yeah. And like I said, if yeah, no, Jonathan Brooks. So Trevin Wallace. Yes, man, he did steal that. Mhm. 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 Yeah. Man, let me just say I do not like Trevor Wallace. I don't I don't think his skill set matches well with Devin Lloyd now on the team. because Devin, the whole thing with Trevor Wallace is, he's so athletic for a linebacker, but Devin Lloyd's athletic, and he actually produced. You know, Devin Lloyd can actually use his athleticism as a blitzer because he got a good bit of sacks. He can blitz the quarterback. Okay, Trevor Wallace cannot do that. He's actually good in coverage. Trevor Wallace is not good in coverage. Like, he yeah, the guy beside Devin Lloyd either has to be a thumper or someone that someone that's really good in coverage so Devin Lloyd can blitz and handle the blockers and move around more in the middle linebacker. And when I think about the thumper, I think about Shirtless, right? Because I forgot the specific game, but you know, Roseboom and Trevor Wallace just did not look good, and Trevor Wallace gets hurt. Shirtless come in, and we're losing, and he starts laying players out, and actually putting and it actually gave our defense energy, and that's what I like to see. Like he at least has energy. Like I think so. I think it was the Saints game, and and that's what I want to see, man. Like, hey, listen, if I'm not good in coverage, I'm definitely going to be a thumper and a hitter. I'm going to at least stop run defense, and he was doing that, man. And analytically, he wasn't. I think Shirtless didn't play overall well because of his coverage. But hey, listen, if we have Devin Lloyd, Shirtless could be the main one handling the run defense and whatnot. And as far as coverage, we drafted seventh round. We took a flyer on a seventh round linebacker, Jackson Kuwatch, because he was more of the coverage side of line linebacker, even though he went to my. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like, he could be that guy. Um, so when I see those two, and like I said, even Bryson Scott, like I see those guys, and I'm like, why is Trevor Wallace still on the team? Like he reminds me of those linebackers we, sadly used to run through that were just athletic but just could not play football. Yeah, yeah. So like, what's the guy name I believe we released him last year or the year before, and DJ Johnson, yes, DJ Johnson. And then there's a slew of other linebackers like that were like, hey, they're athletic, but they just could not play in the NFL. And DJ Johnson was one. I remember we hated that pick. And it's like, oh, he was just the most athletic linebacker left in like the fourth round. And we reached for him. And he showed that he was a reach. Like Trevor Wallace, I feel like, I don't know what he's good at. I guess that's my biggest problem. It's like he's extremely athletic, but he's not a great run defender, and he's not good in coverage. So I don't know which one he's supposed to do well in, and he's just sort of there because he's just been on the team the longest, and we just didn't bother to replace him. And when PFF analytically looked at what the biggest weakness of our team was, it was like middle linebacker hands down. They're like, hey, we need to get 2 new middle linebackers. That's how bad our middle linebackers were. Yeah, yeah. Before Phillips and before Devin Lloyd, they was like, hey, who do the Panthers? Yeah, who do we need to get in free agency? What did the Panthers need to do? And it was like, listen, middle linebacker, we have to do something at middle linebacker. So we got Devin Lloyd. I think the second step is, hey, we need somebody else to get some reps. Uh, and if Trevor Wallace still has a chance to surprise me, but he's gonna have to figure out whether he's gonna have to either gain instincts in coverage or something because his athleticism isn't really a standout feature as much now that we got Devin Lloyd on the team. No, no, no. You said Devin Lloyd. But like I said, personally, I don't like Trevor Wallace. I just believe he's just like DJ Johnson. It's just we giving him extra opportunity just because. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Listen, man. Why, like, man? There we used to have guys that could start, like AJ Klein and Dan Connor, start for other teams. Where happened with that, man? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Listen, man. Yeah, I mm-hmm. And he came and played. Yeah, we haven't had that man in a long time. Like some strong depth on the team. Um, so let me see if I can think of one more player. You know what? That's five players, so I'll be good with that. It's but yeah, those yeah. So which rookies and second year players do you want to see getting playing time? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. you already said his name, but same in that wide receiver room. Chris Brazil. I want to see. I want to see him get a lot of playing time. I want to see if his route tree is better than what is initially attributed to him. You know, you just say he's a deep threat. You know, he has deep speed. I want to see. He might have more to his route tree. I want to see how he does with out routes. I want to see how he does with smoke routes. Like, you know, I don't. You know, let's see if he has some acceleration or some, you know, yard after catch ability. Um, the main thing I want to see if is he a smooth route runner? Because if he's smooth, I actually believe him and Jimmy Horn Jr. would complement Jalen Coker and T Mac extremely well. Extremely well. And, you know, I saw like the Panthers draft video, where they were like, you know, just so excited when we got him in the third. Like, you know, they wanted him in the second, but it was like, hey, you know, you got Lee Hunter there. I guess we're gonna miss out on Chris Brazil, and we end up getting him in the third. And you know, from what I see from, you know, tall, fast wide receiver, played in um, a sort of limited offense, but he seemed his best skill is what's needed for the team, because we do need true deep threat speed, but he's a natural wide receiver. So I think he would be smoother than Xavier Legette. And it seems like Bryce plays well with smooth wide receivers. You know, T Mac got a lot of smoothness to his game. Jalen Coker definitely a lot of smoothness, smooth route running. And if Chris Brazil can add, you know, if he's like, you know, can add a couple routes and not just a deep threat, I don't really see how you keep him out the starting lineup. Like, he got to be one of the three wide receivers. You can, because if he's good, you can move T Mac around. I know he was talking about potentially like moving him around in the slot. You can do that if Chris Brazil has deep speed and can actually run the route tree, the full route tree. Uh, if he has some yard after catch ability, and you throw in Jimmy Horn, we run four wide receiver ride. Both of them can be the, you know, speed guys, while T Mac and Jalen Coker are the more route running physical wide receivers. So I just want to see. I just want to see what type of route runner he is, cause I know Leggett lost weight and he slimmed up and he's, you know, working hard. Um, I feel like even then, if his the only way he's gonna do it if he becomes like a Debo type wide receiver, and I'm not sure Leggett is gonna become that. And yeah, he could be. Yeah, he could be. Like I said, he's gonna have to do that to. Hmm. He's gonna have to. But you know, Brazil. I want to see what type of ability, like truly see what type of ability he had. Like, don't limit him just because he's a rookie. Like, let's go out, and that's what I think. Like you said, they did with Jimmy Horn Jr. Like, hey, he's a low round rookie. Yeah, we might use him a little bit, but then we gonna pull back. We don't want to do too much with him because he's a low round rookie. No, man. Let's see. You know, don't wait until, like, you know, the very last play in the playoffs to try to throw something at him. You know, like, move him around and truly, like, move him around and use him. Like, don't make him like truly a part of the offense. Like, I'd rather see them try that and he failed than okay, yeah, we moved him around for like 2 plays, and then that's it. That's the only burn he got in the game. Like, yes, yes. Yeah, man. Man. Like a comparison I like to Rizal is if you look at like Nico Collins with the Texans, and you know Nico had ability, but he never had a quarterback to get it. And then once they got CJ, yeah, CJ Stroud, he becomes a Pro Bowl wide receiver. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And like that's uh that's um that's who I see with Chris Brazil, man. Like, Christian Watson is another guy, just tall, fast. Um like if he I think he can have wide receiver one ability, and that's if he's, a lot better with his route tree than what we know. And with those type of weapons, that makes the offense dangerous. Um, let me let's see. I'm trying to think of another player. I know it's your turn, so you can maybe throw one out. Um, uh, mhm. you, hmm I do hope they really explore that. Nick Scott, uh, he sort of had a career year with the Panthers last year, and it wasn't really, good from NFL stands, but it was good for him. But I say he was decent. He was decent. He still had, struggles because he's just physically limited, but he was decent. Um, but man, I see potential with these safeties, man. Ransom, um, we could use him like sort of Jeremy Shin when we were really using him. where he could sort of play up and down the line, and we could go with a three safety, a three safety lineup where, like you said, Morig and Ransom are sort of roaming up and down the field while you have Zaki Wheatley as the free ranger, and I'm really hoping he becomes like our free safety, at least a decent free safety. The last time we had a decent free safety, I think he got a Pro Bowl invite. Kurt Coleman. Shout out to my flex man with the flex after, um, you know, um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm. Listen, I don't want them to have ransom. I want hitters on the field, and I don't want like you. I don't want ransom on the bench. I want him to, find playing time. Um, and I think he could in a three safety front, just like it could be like a special type of nickel for our team because he's so violent. He could blitz the quarterback, and we could do like three safeties, three corners, um, and five. I think but three linebackers and two down linemen, or some type of modification of that. But I think there's a whole lot of potential we could do with that defense if Avero is willing to explore it. Cause our strength that's actually our strength on our defense, and I'd rather Ransom get more playing time than Trevor Wallace. So if we have sort of a baseline where Ransom is on the field, and then it's Devin Lloyd and our two other linebackers are Phillips and Pat Jones, and then we have Lee Hunter and Derek Brown. I'll accept that. Okay, that keep that that erase. Yeah, yeah, and I think Ransom has more hunger and know what to do than at his position and more flexibility, being like I said, extra safety on the field, and that's the type of stuff we need to look at for our team, especially with the NFL, is being more about speed and being able to react. Because you look at like the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl, and Cooper DeJean, he's corner slash safety. Him moving around got him two picks in the Super Bowl. Like and we got to look at a player like that. Yeah, 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 yep. And his birthday, man, he got two, and I believe one of them was a pick six, man. Like man, uh, hmm and another example, man. Look at the Seahawks, man. Shout out to their head coach that built that team up in 2 years. Okay, built that team up 2 years. He was with the Ravens. He leave the Ravens. The Ravens fall off. He go to the Seahawks. Seahawks go to the Super Bowl and win in 2 years. Okay, listen, man. Give that man a 10-year extension. Um, like, mm-hmm. And mind you, the worst ass whooping we got last year was when we played the Seahawks. I think we didn't even get I think we didn't even get 100 yards of offense. Like, yeah, you know, I didn't realize how good they were until that ass whooping. and something, And something we talked about, yeah, it's something we talked about. Hmm. Something we talked about that I truly believe in that head coach did. Um, he like basically he said I can coach up the defense, put all our resources into the offense. Like I will make our yeah, and so he did it with Sam Darnold, Jackson, Najiba, my running back, I think my man was Super Bowl MVP. Like, he had resources in the offense and they delivered. Yeah, they let him go, right? Well, he signed with another team. Yeah. Yeah. MVP. Man, running backs, I swear, running backs do not get the same respect they used to, man. I mm-mm. but we gotta be more explorative on defense, and it's like, hey, okay, I'm not sure about the middle linebackers, but hey, you know what? We got three good safeties, or three hungry safeties. How can I get them on the field? We got to think that way. Um, let's see. Cause like I say, with Lathan Ransom and Zachy Wheatley. Let me think. I know we already talked about Brooks. I do want to see Brooks get a lot of playing time. Um, well, he's not a second. Yeah, 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 yeah. But he's not a second year player. Let me think. After Princely, I did mention him before, but we need him to play a lot to see. Hey, do you got that anchor for run defense now? All right, here is preseason to gain it in live game experience. Um, you know, so for second year, so for second year players, I'm really looking at him to get a whole lot of playing time. Um, I you know, we drafted a couple D tackles that should be able. One of them should be able to hold it down just as a run defender. So like Lee Hunter, I think he's gonna do fine. I think Cam Jackson, that was like a real big nose tackle we drafted the year before. Like yeah, yeah. I want to see. Yeah, I don't know either, but I don't know if it's because I don't know if I know we're doing sort of this off-brand 3-4 where sometimes it's like like a 4-2-5 where well, excuse me, I guess they wouldn't call it 4-2-5. Maybe they would call it um 2-4-5, where it's just only two down linemen, and then you have like the two edges and two middle linebackers. So it's only doing two instead of three. Um, but I think that's maybe the might have been a reason holding up. I'm not sure, but I would like to see Cam Jackson see what he can do, especially second year. And he's a nose tackle, man. If yeah, yeah. Hmm. So so you got Derek Brown on one side, man. Hey, if it would do well if Cam Jackson sort of started that and Lee Hunter can be brought up. Not necessarily have to, with D tackles, sometimes they take them some time to gain that grown man strength consistently to fight. So, yeah, yeah. So, mm-mm. But, yeah, a lot of young players I want to see from because I really like both of these recent drafts. And, you know, and shout out to, the analytics guy on our draft staff. Let me get his name right quick. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And, the guy Eric Eager, that's the guy with the Panthers, help with analytics. But yeah, man. Yeah, man. What I've been reading about him, I've been reading. He's like Johnny Bravo of old tackles. Like just I guess that yeah, like he's that like sort of just in shape. But I do hear like he did well as he got more playing time for the Georgia, but it's saying he's raw. He's raw and like he they say sometimes he feel like he's too antsy for run blocking versus pass blocking, and man, I think he is. I think he's sort of a project, but you know we he can't be a project now. He can't be a project. He got to sort of be like the Julius Peppers of the offense. Like Julius Peppers came in. He's 6'6", 280. But he runs like a 4.6. He has like 40-inch vertical. He's just a super athlete. We pick him number 2 overall, and it's like, man, as soon as he step on the field, it's like, yeah, this Joker really is an athlete. So like, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure if there was a RAS score back then, or let me see if there is one for him. I'm pretty sure he has to be like close to the top. Yeah, yeah. They said they didn't have the RAS score then, but like yeah. I don't know how they figure that. Um, yeah, but he got to be like if I wanted to build a perfect D tackle, he got to be like in that build or whatnot, and that's what I'm thinking for Marlon Free. It's like, listen, you sort of this perfect build tackle. You got to do some things at tackle where it's like, oh wow, this Joker is like, he really is like that gifted physically. So whether it's like, yeah, so whether it's like, man, we throw a quick screen and he's already, you know, running down to pancake somebody or something like, you know, it got to be something physically that wows us. Yeah, so yeah, I could definitely see that, especially with Taylor Moton being out. You know, we slotting you at right tackle. Show us something. Just show us. Um, some of this athleticism at O lineman. I wanted to sort of jump out. You know, Rob Hunt's been hurt, but I remember when he was first playing and they showed a play where he like straight up pancaked somebody, like yeah, just mush, yeah, and it's like, yeah. hmm like it's like okay, like this Joker is like athletic and nasty, like yeah, like let's see something in it. Like saying it could be something past blocking wise. Like, hey, listen, this Joker feet is so nimble for his size that I remember they used to show like Tyson Smith a lot like that with the Cowboys. Like, oh, he's so tall and nimble for his size. I do want to see that because, like I said, man, I thought we was gonna go safety. I thought we was gonna go safety. Yeah, because the guy Dylan Thieneman, Dylan, Di- yeah, I believe he went to the Steelers. Let me. He went to the Chicago Bears, and like when I was just looking at like that athlete ability we could have had at safety, and he not raw like he's a playmaker, and according to analytics, he was higher on the board than Monroe Freeland. So yeah, so we sort of went like, oh yeah, well on PFF's big board, but uh Sonny Styles. Oh, I know who you're talking about. I know who you talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he man, that's just one of them players, man. It's like, when you're not in the top five, it's like, dang, man, this Joker like a true athlete and player, and you hate seeing him ball out for another team because, like, dog, I remember watching him in the combat combine, like I knew he was gonna be nice. Um, you know, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say like Miles Garrett. There's a lot of edge rushers like that, man. I'm trying to, I remember there was a talk that we should have got. What's my guy? He the linebacker that used to play for the Cowboys. Went to the Packers. Um, uh, Not Miles, but yeah, yeah, Makai Parsons. Like, I'm yeah, 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 yeah. Jacob Rodriguez. Yeah, I man, I thought he would play well, man, with Devin Lloyd because he playmaker. That's yeah, yeah, yeah. He went early, and but I do look at stuff like that, and I'm like, man, ooh, like if he starts balling out for his team, I'm like, I knew it, man. I knew it, and mhm, yeah. Mhm. 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 Right. Yeah, yeah. I did, especially when Icky got went down, and like I don't hate the pick 'cause it's always good to have extra linemen. Um, and definitely potential. Like I said, I see the potential. It's just I really hope to see like the potential on the field as well. And like I said, man, if he showed that physical ability on the field, um, and really all he has to do is be a good left tackle. Icky did not rate well as a left tackle. He rated okay, and we were probably going to extend him just for being an okay left tackle. Um, if Marlon Free could just be good, that would be a huge just for the offense. Um, and like I said, man, I would like to start seeing some players on our team that we sort of gotten away from, but I want to see some players that's like top three in the league at their position. Like, hey, this is the best linebacker. This is the best, running back. This is top guy. Back when we had like the best quarterback, linebacker, outside linebacker, fullback. Shout out to Mike Tolbert. Um, you know, we had a top three tight end. Like we have multiple like top players at certain positions, and like I want us to get back to that. Not just okay, this player's good, this player's solid, he's top. I want like a true baller and like I say, man, I'm trying to think of just old lineman that was just that good physically. I know they talk about like Eric Williams for the Cowboys, how good he was before he got hurt. Like, I really want Marlon Freeland to like be that good. The last tackle I can remember that I really wanted for the Panthers that we didn't get was actually two of them. It's actually two. Make that three. Way back, I want us to get Ryan Clady, and he went to Denver, and we end up getting Jonathan Stewart and Jeff Ota, and Jeff Ota was a good tackle before he messed up his knee and never recovered from that. He was a good tackle. He wasn't, so I'm not hating on that. Then I remember I wanted us to get Tristan Wirfs. Yeah. Then he went to the Bucks, so we didn't get him. And then I wanted us to get the Chargers tackle. What's his name? He's actually recovering left tackle. Slater, Rashawn Slater. Um, and he just got a 114 million contract. That's how you know how good he is. Yeah, man. And like I remember, man, that Joker was like, it says core. He was like dead, pulling up like 600 like it's nothing, man. It's like, man, we got that. Yeah, like you know, who we on our O line that's pulling up weight like that easily, like, and and I'm not even sure how strong Monroe Freeling is. It's more so like his speed and size. I don't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wonder. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do remember Oh, Larry, man. Yeah, like I said, we'll see. But main thing is, listen, man, training camp. You still got 2 weeks for this first game. I need my players hungry. I want to hear like like when Cam grabbed Josh Norman's face mask. They being chippy. Um, it's like yeah, these jokers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like hey, we trying to get to the Super Bowl. Like hey man, you ain't gonna talk trash about my squad. Uh, I want to I know Bryce. And to be honest, man, I want to hear like, yo, Bryce and the offense is carving things up. Like that's what I want to hear. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there now. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear, man, Bryce and this offense is carving things up. I don't want to hear, yeah, yeah, we can't even, like, hey, this gonna be some exciting stuff. Uh, when it's man, I do like Kurt. I want to see him like actually like get up in someone's face. Yeah, 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 yeah. I would say I don't know for that, but like, hey man, I want him. hmm Listen, I want him to like, hey, Leggett, man, run this route right way. Like, I want him to actually like be a little chippy, uh, and he don't even gotta be trash talk, but just chippy. Like, hey, man, I need you guys to really, yeah, 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 yep, yep. Right, right. hmm Yeah, that's man. I went blind for a second. like, listen, man. Bryce, we gonna like I said, we gonna see. We here at Frat House podcast, we're gonna of course be paying attention to the training camp reports. You know, and we're gonna we're gonna talk about how people are looking at seeing from training camp. What's the what's getting out there, how things are looking, and we're gonna have a good idea, or we're gonna you know have a sort of picture of what to expect for this first Hall of Fame game, and that's gonna we're definitely gonna be at least one home game this season. That's gonna probably pick it help us decide like, hey man, am I gonna be a season ticket holder or I'm just gonna grab maybe one ticket and like, hey, all right, I was here, but it is looking like a long season. Like, cause I'm telling you, man, I do not want to hear like, yo, we trying to keep this under wraps. We're not practicing hard. Bryce did his 1 or 2 reps and that was it. Like the defense is sort of dominating, and then the preseason game come out and Bryce don't play at all, and they start that we not gonna play the starters. No, no, no. Yeah, 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 man. Listen, I'm tired of us getting our ass whooped the first game of the season. Okay, I'm tired of, and this has been something going on. I want to say even before Dave Canales came through. Let me and right quick before we wrap things up. Let me look at the past 3 seasons first game. So last year, first game we lose to Jacksonville 26-10. Okay, I remember that. We got an ass whoop. So yeah, the score was worse than that. Um, then 2024. That's the one I remember. Saints 47-10. That's the one I remember. That's the one I remember because I was like, they were running like 6 or 7 yards per carry. That I don't know what's in that water, that voodoo water over there, man. But they yeah, they got our number, man. Like I don't know what it is, but we and, and then against Atlanta lost 24-10. So like and that was Bryce. I believe that was Bryce's first game through the both. He started okay, but through the back to back picks. But you see like all these games we losing by double digit scores. We're not putting up points. I'm tired of that. We can't do that, man. Listen, yeah, mm-hmm, exactly, man. And like, listen, like I said, we already did 3 years of that. Um, I can't take another. Hey, we not practicing, and like we come out lackadaisical, and that's not gonna encourage me for the season. That's not gonna make me optimistic that hey we're gonna do something different for the season. It's gonna be like hey same old, and really that's going yeah. Oh yeah, man. Yeah. So listen, this really is going to be a test for Dave Canales because one thing I'll say this right quick too. Uh, when I tell him about him giving up play calling duties, that's actually horrible for Dave Canales because let's say we have a great offense. That means Isnick is going to be gone. They're going to be like, hey, he's the one got the offense running. We're going to make him a head coach, and then yeah. So you right, right, exactly, exactly. So like I think there's a little bit more to that. Hey, give up play calling duties. Uh, like I said, that I think it's a little bit more background on that. I wonder if that's gonna depending on how things go. I wonder if how that's gonna come out, but. I don't think Canales would just naturally want to give up play calling duties because that's basically giving up your coach security, your job security. Like Isnick has to right, right. Like hey, you can make things better, but like I say, it's better for us if it does work out. I'm just saying it's technically worse for Canales if it works out because while his team did win, they're gonna look at the offensive coordinator and say, "Hey, why don't we pick him up? He made Bryson offense work. Why don't we pick him up for our team?" And he's gonna leave. He has to take the money they're gonna throw at him. And then, like you said, it's like, hey, if you're the guru, you just let the guru leave. So like, yeah, mm-hmm. And you look at like John Harbaugh, what happened with him with the Ravens. Being a good facilitator can only work so long in this league. Like, you got to sort of be the guru, a la Andy Reid, a la, you know, I'm not gonna say, Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was I was gonna say Jim Harbaugh is another one. Yeah, so like I said, um, because he he already got that system with just his system in general. Or Sean Payton, you know, listen, he know he got like say he's just a guru. He know how to make offense and stuff work. You know, who knows how they would do if old boy didn't get hurt and what he did break his ankle in a game. Yeah, like that was random injury. Random crazy injury, but um, you know, who knows? Like I said, I'm just saying, Canales is it. I think like that's something they don't look at. We don't look at much, but I think it's gonna be sort of catchy for Canales if things start working out. I think how is that good for you because you couldn't make it work. So it's like yeah. So if I'm mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, because if I'm like Bryce and let's say I have a career year under Isnick, I might say, hey, I'll sign back if you make him head coach. Like like I gotta stick with him. Yeah, yeah. If Bryce has like a crazy career year, I'm talking about 4,000 plus yards, 40 touchdowns. Let's say less than 12 interceptions, and he just like I said just balls out on offense and we're 10 and at least above 10-7, we're gonna pay Bryce, and I think Bryce is gonna say, okay, this is the offense I like. Um, you got to keep Ishnick, and you can't outpay like you can't pay Tepper can't pay the assistant only so much money from a head coaching job opportunity is going to pay him. So it's like you're gonna have to, yeah. So it's like, hey, you're gonna have to make him the head coach. Yeah, right, right. Like, yeah, man. I need listen. Either I leave or you gonna give me this job with extra little security, and I think Tepper would do it. I think Tepper he's gonna be like, hey, listen, man, my hands are tied. Uh, he was able to make it, offense work with Bryce. Like I got to keep this going. Like he's talking about hosting the Super Bowl, and he feel like we're a championship team. Like do you think if Isnick does well and leave, you think Canales gonna be able to find another great offensive coordinator? Because now you got somebody else that has to work with Bryce. Because apparently you can't do it. So like yeah, you can't chance that, and like I don't know. Like I said, I'm hoping as the season, I'm actually hoping that Bryce does well, and I'd rather, and I'm wondering like if Isnick does, if he does like noticeably. I do think Canales does have some great play calls, but if Isnick expounds on that, I'm gonna say, hey man, you know what? I'm gonna be one of the first ones to say, hey, you might want to make this guy head coach as soon as the season ends. Like as soon as, hey, thank you for your services. This is the new head coach going forward. Like let's go ahead and like yeah, yeah. It's yeah, yeah. Yeah, cause let me see if I can look up Brad's contract. Uh, let's see, cause I'm pretty sure it's not some. Yeah, yeah, his contract ends after this year, so like yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like he's gonna call the plays. That, they're saying yeah they're going for a global approach. Um, my man's gonna be he like I said he stands to make a whole lot of money because let's say somebody like let's see a team with like a young quarterback. You know, Oakland. I think that Oakland already got a new coach, but like you look at teams like that and Titans and stuff. Um, any team with a young quarterback, they're like, hey, this guy made Bryce Young work. Let's bring him over here to work with my quarterback. Like, hey, like, mm-hmm. So they might say, hey, let's bring this. Mhm. And yeah, man, like, hey, you know what? We about to, what? We're gonna draft a new quarterback in the 2027 draft. We want somebody that I know can work with someone with little ability. So we about to give you somebody with major ability. Yeah, yeah. You pick between whoever these next quarterbacks coming out next year, and I already trust you because you made it work with Bryce Young. Just something for fans to like keep in the back of their head. Like, you know what, man? I remember Big Brother A said we can. Listen, I remember Big Brother A. Yeah, yeah. It's like I said. It's like I said. It's gonna be one of them things brought back up. I feel like it's gonna be just like I say, real interesting to see, and it's really funny because if I'm Canales, I actually want Bryce to suck, so I could use the excuse that hey man, nobody can make him work. Give me a chance to get another quarterback. Just give me 1 year. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, cause yeah, like I say, who knows, man? But like, I think that's his best shot. That's his. So it's like I wonder if that's gonna affect his coaching. Cause it's like, hey, man, I do, I'd be sort of checked out. So, but we'll know for sure. Cause if they're not practicing hard, I'll probably be like, yo, he's probably sort of checked out of this season already. And like I said, that's gonna be the first tall tale sign at this Hall of Fame game. Because if they, like I said, they got to play hard. They got to want to win all these preseason games. Yeah, they got to one. They got to want to win and be hungry. And we'll see that. We'll see that during the games. But all right, man. We'll go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. Like I said, the next we're gonna probably give them a couple training camps before we come back and review what we've seen from the camp so far. But I'm gonna cross my fingers. No more injuries. Okay, no more injuries. Let's just get to the first pre. Yeah, let's get to the first preseason game, and talk about that. Talk about player progress. But please, I do not want us to come back saying, "Hey, man, we got another injury bug, uh, player or anything, man." Like I said, Yes. Mm-hmm. It gotta be done, man. But man, listen. But all right, man. This is your boy Big Brother A signing out. Yes. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yep. Panther Nation, stay up. Like I say, stay strong, and we'll see how the rest of this thing goes. All right. Peace.